normally discuss one coding question in the first 1 hour, and then Soham will talk to you in the last 30 minutes. So this is the agenda of this Monday evening alumni technical coaching sessions. And today we'll discuss this one, a LeetCode coin change problem. Yeah, sorry, just 1 second. Okay, okay, I'm back. So yeah, so in this question we are so I'm talking about this one, which is coin change LeetCode 322, right? So basically we are given an array of integers, and this array represents coins of different value, and then we have an integer amount that represents the total amount of money. Okay, now we have to find the previous number of coins, the minimum number of coins that we need to make up that amount, right? If that amount of money cannot be made up by any combination of the coins, then return -1, right? So in some cases it's impossible to get that amount, so return -1, right? Also we can assume that we have an infinite number of each kind of coin. Okay, so like basically these are coin types, and we have infinite number of each kind of coin. So in example 1, right, so basically in the input we'll have two things. We'll have the amount, the total amount, and an array like this, which is nothing but the types of coins we have. Okay, but basically we have infinite number of coin of every type, right? Like in this example, we have infinite number of coins of value 1, then we have infinite number of coins of value 2, and so on, right? Now to get this sum, we need at least 3 coins, right? 5, 5, 1. And that's why 3 is the answer, right? Let's say if I'm using 2, 2, and then 2, and then 5, right? So this also can give us this total amount 11, but here we are using total 4 coins, right? So this is not the answer, right? Similarly, let's say I can use all ones, right? 11 times. In that case, we need 11 coins, and that's why like 3 is the answer, because this is the fewest number of coin. This is the minimum number of coins we need to make up that amount, right? In the example 2, if you see, right, we have amount is 3, and we have only one type of coin, which is 2, right? So in this case, it's impossible to get that amount, right? So that's why the answer is -1. -1 means it's impossible to get that amount, right? In the last example, if the sum is 0, if the amount is 0, then in that case we don't need any coin, right? So that's why the output is 0. That means we don't need any coin. Okay. I can give you one more example. Let's say if it is, yeah, I think these examples are fine. We'll see some more examples to explain some test cases, like some corner cases, but I hope for now these examples are enough to understand the question. Any doubt, anyone in the problem statement, anything which is not clear?
The amount is in always the max of the integer, right?
No, why amount would be max? So here amount is 11, right?
No, the total, the amount
Mhm.
is also integer, right? Is it?
Always integer? Yes. So amount will be always integer. So the type of amount is integer. It's a like whole number. It can't be. Also, it can't be negative. So amount is a non-negative number from 0 to 10,000.
0 to 10,000.
Yeah, 10,000. Yeah, it won't be a float or double. So it's a whole number. I mean, non-negative integer.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, looks like the problem is clear to all of you. I mean, just for late joiners, we are discussing this one LeetCode coin change. So
I have a
okay.
question.
Mhm.
In the example where coins array has one integer and the amount is 0, we know that it cannot be created. How do we
No,
actually?
we can create that, right? So we don't pick any coin. So we
Okay.
need 0 coins to get that amount, right? That's why output is 0.
Oh, okay. Can we take another example like coins is suppose 5 and amount is 4?
Hmm.
How or we have coins as 5, 6 and amount as 4.
Right. So
How,
what should be the output in this case? In that case?
again, it will be 0, but how do
No,
we
why do
validate that?
why it will be 0?
I'm seeing coins array has value 4 and 5, 4,
So
5.
what will be the output of this input? So what will be the output of this example 2?
It will be -1. Sorry, yeah. The example also
Yeah,
I
here
said
it's
-1.
impossible. Yeah, -1.
Mm-hmm.
-1 is it's not possible, right? Here it's
Right.
possible because we can get that amount without picking any coin. That's why the output is 0.
Okay.
I think
So
also
here,
constraint is given on the amount. The amount is, can you go to the constraint? Go slide.
no. So that has nothing to do with this, right? I mean, like amount could like he was saying like coins is let's say 4 and 5 and 6. So let's say if the coins array contains 5 and 6, and then let's say amount is 4. So in that case also the output will be -1 because it's not possible to create this amount, right, with these coins. So -1 means it's not possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So any thoughts, anyone, like how we can solve this?
I was thinking first of a greedy approach. We check how many number of like basic maths we can do is whatever we have the amount, we divide it with the highest value in that coins array, and then we update the amount to whatever is the remainder, and then we keep doing this with a pointer in the array, and we keep on moving it to the left side if it is sorted.
I mean,
But
yeah, if it's not sorted, then again you can sort it, right? So sorting is
right,
not the issue. But I think it, so let's say again, I mean, let's say you have a coins array which is, let's say, sorted. Again, it might not be sorted, but let's say it's sorted for now. And let's say the amount is 11. So you're saying you will pick 9 first,
Yes. So
and then
we
you will have 1, 1, right?
yeah, that's how we can make.
But this is not the right answer, right? Like,
Right. So that is greedy, and greedy is not accurate every time.
yeah, greedy is not accurate. So yeah, so in greedy, what we're doing is we are trying to pick the coin with maximum value. Like, let's say in this case, I'll try to pick 9. Only 1 9 because we have 11, so we can't pick 2 9s. So then remaining amount will be 2. And for 2, we can pick 2 coins of 1. So basically we need 3 coins to get this amount, which is not the correct answer, right? Because we just need 2 coins, right? So the actual answer will be 5 and 6. So we just need these 2 coins to get this sum, right? So this is the actual correct answer. This is the wrong answer. So yeah, so greedy will fail here for sure because
we can, so because this is a combinatorial optimization, right? Because you want like a sequence. So I think we can use a DP because you only have combinatorial optimization or greedy or branch and bound. So the DP would probably be the ideal.
Yeah, so let's think about yeah, like, I mean, it's DP problem for sure because I mean, coin chain is is a very famous coding problem. So yeah, it's a DP problem. But so let's think about a recursive solution, and then we'll optimize that recursion using DP, right? So how can we solve this using recursion? Any thoughts, anyone?
So we could iterate over the coins and pick one and just try to come up with the remaining sum with the again. So for example, let's say we could just iterate over in this case, each of these 4 coins, and then say if we pick 1, then we try to recursively find the amount for 10. And if we pick 5, then we try to recursively find 6. And then for 6, we try to find 5, and 9, we try to find 2. And then based on the results from those recurs, I mean, at each step we count how many coins we have used, and then pick the highest or smallest coin that each path returns.
Yeah, that could be one way of writing recursion. Yeah, I mean, actually, in this case also we can write recursion in multiple ways. That is one way. Okay. Rushi, do you have anything to add?
No, I think basically the same. Like, I think recursive calls, at each call we have 3 choices to make. So not 3 basically.
You have basically the number of coins.
Number of coin types choices to make. So at each step, basically, you know, we have the for loop for the number of coins we have, and we make a call accordingly by making sure if that call is feasible or not. So for example, if we have the current accumulative sum of amount like 7 or something, and we have to pick like 5, then that will not be the feasible call. So we either return by using the exit condition in the first step of recursion, or we basically don't make that call. And at the end of each call, when we return, we find the sum amount to be equal, or if we are deducting, if we find the sum amount to be 0, then we return true or something. And while we return, we check the number of counts we have made, and we basically update the count if that is the minimum count to reach that amount. I think that's what I had in mind.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that also works. So again, yeah, basically we can write the recursive in two ways. One way is like every time we can try. So for every amount, we'll try using all these coins one by one, and we'll see which of these combinations is giving us the minimum number of coins, right? Or another way could be, like, let's say this is coins, and then let's say this is the amount array we have. So let's say amount is 11, right? So actually what we can do is, in the recursive call, we can, let's say, pass two things, the index I and this amount, right? So I'm only writing a means amount, right? So initially I will be 0, and this amount will be the given amount, right? That means now we'll consider the ith coin, okay? And again, for that ith coin, we'll have two options. Either we can take that coin, or we can will not take that coin, right? And then we'll see which combination is giving us the fewest number of coins, the smallest number of coins, right? Okay, so again, we can write the recursion in that way as well. That okay, for I'll think about every coin, okay, and for every coin I'll have two options. I can pick that coin, or I can not pick that coin, okay? And then we'll see which combination is giving us the minimum number of coins to get that amount, right? So if you think about the like in this case, let's initially in the function I'll have, of course, 0 and amount is 11. So in the function I'll have 0 and 11 as a sum, right? So one option is I can, let's say I'm not picking that coin. So not picking that coin, and this is, let's say I'm picking that coin, right? Not pick and pick, right? So if I'm not picking this coin, right, in that case, I'll go to the next index. That means now it will be function of 1, and sum will be same, 11 only, right? Okay. Let's say if I'm picking that coin 1, then given that we have unlimited supply of every type of coin, so I can pick that coin, same coin again, right? It's not like subset. In subset problem, or in subset sum problem, when we are choosing one element, right, we increment I, right? Basically we increment I in every case, right, whether we are picking that number or not, right? But in this case, if we are choosing that coin, then next time also I can pick the same coin. That's why the I will be same, right? So it will be 0 only, and now sum will be, the remaining amount will be 10 because I have picked that coin, right? Also I can add 1 because now I have used one coin, so it should be 1, because this function is supposed to return the count of coins, right? The minimum number of coins, right, needed to get this sum. Okay. Again, for here also I can have two options. I can escape, let's say 2. So now we'll have 2 and 11, or let's say I can pick 2, so it will be 1 and 9, right? And again, here also, if you think, we'll have, like for 0th coin, again, we can have two options. I can ignore that coin, so it will be 1, 10, and then this will be, let's say, function of 0 and 9 and plus 1, because again, I'm, let's say, picking this coin 1 again, right? So now sum will be 9 only. Now from here, right, that means, okay, can I pick 2? The one option is that, okay, I'll not pick 2, so it will be now 2 and 10, right? That means, okay, I'm not picking 2. Of course, we'll have one more option. And then here it's about coin 5, right? So again, one option is I'll not pick that coin. Okay. And again, if we are doing that, then we are not getting this sum because we are done with trying all the coins. So this will return -1 because we couldn't get that coin, right? Because like that means in this case we couldn't make this amount 0, right? But let's say if I'm picking that coin 5, then this will be function of 2 and 5 and plus 1. Then again, it could be function of 2 and 0 and plus 1, right? So our base case will be when this amount is remaining amount is 0, then we can return 0. Okay, that will be the base case. That means in that case, I don't need any coin to get that sum, right? To get that amount. Another base case will be, let's say if this index I, which is the array index, is equal to coins array dot length. In that case, we can return. That means we don't have any solution, right? Okay. And actually, again, I'll simply pick minimum of this and this. Okay. Right. So again, of course, I can return -1 from here, but let's say in the recursive call, what I'm doing is I'll return a very large number, right? Because then, yeah. So let's say I'm returning here int max, the largest integer number, right? And -1, right? So this means again the solution is not possible, right? And why I'm doing that? Because like let's say here, right, we have these two calls, right? That okay, if I'm at second coin, which is coin 5, I have two options. Either I'll not pick that coin or I'll pick that coin, right? So if I'm not picking that coin, then I don't have any solution because I is equal to coin length, which is 3, right? So from here, I'm returning a like very large number, let's say infinitive, right? And from here we'll get, because now this function will return 0, right? Because here amount is 0. So 0 plus 1 is 1, right? So from this function we'll get, like this function will return 1 and 1 plus 1 is 2, right? So here simple meaning is that, so like this whole thing is returning to actually 2. That means if we have total sum 10, the remaining amount is 10. Then, and if we have this coin only, coin 5, then in 2 coins we can get that sum, right? And from here I'm getting infinitive. So if I'll take the minimum of these two expression, infinitive and 2, then minimum is 2. That's why I'll return 2 from here, right? Okay. So this is how it's and again this will return again 2. So so basically this function will be nothing but, this function will return nothing but 2. So 2 plus 1 is 3. So this will return 3. And actually from here, again, I mean, we'll have to see the recursive call, but from here, of course, we'll not get, yeah, we will not get 2 for sure, right? I think from here we'll get 4, because if you're not picking 1, then we can pick, let's say 2, 2, 2, and 5. So we need 4 coins. So basically this function will return 4. And again, we are picking the minimum of both the expressions. So this will be minimum of 3 and 4, which is 3. So this will return 3, right? So this is also how we can think about the recursive call, right? And in this case where the solution is not possible, in that case, I'm returning int max -1. I'll talk about like why this is -1 is there, but you can assume like okay, I'm returning a very large number, let's say infinitive, and that means solution is not possible, right? Because when I'll take the minimum of these two expression, right? I mean if another solution is possible, then I'll take this one, right? Okay. So this is the base case. Now again, depending on the choice we are making, like we can pick or we cannot pick, we'll have 2 separate function calls, right? And we'll return minimum of both the expressions. Does that logic, of course I'll write the pseudocode, but does this logic make some sense? Like how considering?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes
Yeah,
one
yeah, looks
question.
good.
What is the difference? Like, do you see this recursion better than the first approach?
No, they are both the solutions have the same time and space, so you can use any one of them.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, so let's say this is the
Here
overall function.
also
Mhm.
we'll have a for loop, but we'll have two recursive ones, right?
Yeah, here we'll not have for loop actually. Because
But
we are not considering all the coins at a time. So in this recursive call will not have for loop.
how to traverse through, right? We pick that index or we don't pick that index.
Yes, so basically we are talking about the only ith coin, ith type of coin.
Yeah, I think we can still. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, let me write the code. So this is, let's say this is the amount we have. So this is the main overall function we are given. So from here, let's say I have a result, which will be the helper recursive function. Let's say I have another helper function. And in that function, I'll be passing the I will be 0. Then we'll have this coins array. And then I'll have this amount. Okay. And again, if you don't have any solution, then this function will return int max minus 1. So I can write if this result is equal to let's say int max minus 1, and then I'll return -1. That means there's no solution possible. Otherwise, I can simply return this result. If the solution is possible, then I can return the result, right? Now let us see this helper function. That I can write here. So in the helper function, of course, this function will return an integer. I'll have I, then coins array, and then the amount. So the base case will be if the amount is equal to 0. In that case, we don't need any coins, so return 0. And if the I is equal to coins array dot length, and then we can return infinitive, right? So let's say I'm returning int max -1. Okay. So these are the two base cases. Now, again, to pick, I mean, for every ith coin, we have two options. Either we can pick or not pick. Given that here, all the coins are positive, right? So we don't have any negative coin. Okay. That means, I mean, we should not make our amount negative, right? So in that case, what we can do is I can pick that coin only if the value of that coin is less than or equal to the remaining amount, right? So like, let's say if in the coins we have, let's say 10, 1, 4, and let's say the amount is 6, right? So in this case, I can't pick this coin 10, right? So if the remaining amount is greater than, if the remaining amount is less than the value of the coin, then I can't pick that coin, right? So in that case, I'll have only one option. I'll have to skip that coin, right? So that's why, so what I can write is if this amount is less than the value of ith coin, in that case, I have only one option, right? Which is, okay, I can't pick that coin. So in that case, I can return, basically call this another function, helper. So if I'm not picking that coin, then it will be I plus 1 coins. And again, amount will be same, right? Okay, this is the case where I can't pick that coin because the value of that coin is larger than the remaining amount we have, right? Otherwise, we'll have two options. Okay.
Optimization, right? Is it just an
Sorry?
this path is just an optimization, right? Even let's suppose even you go negative, eventually it will go to end of the array, right?
So we'll have to like add one condition here. If the this is an optimization, you can say yes. This is the optimization. Yeah. Now again we'll have two options. Let's say if I'm taking that coin, then let's say that could be, let's say, variable called take. So that will be nothing but, again, I'm picking that one coin, so I should add one plus helper of so again, given that we have unlimited supply of every type of coin, so I can pick the same ith coin again, right? That's why I'll keep this I as same. I'm not incrementing this I because I can pick that coin again, right? So I, then again coins array will be the same. Now the remaining amount will be nothing but amount minus the value of ith coin. Okay. So basically this function call, that means, okay, if I'm picking that coin, then this value will be this, right? So take will be nothing but 1 plus this, right? And let's say if we are not taking that, so if let's say it's don't take, then so let's say I'm writing simply not. If I'm not taking that, then in that case that will be simply a helper of the same call actually, right? I plus 1 coins and amount will be same, right? Okay, and then I can simply return minimum of both of these expression, right? I mean both of these values, right? Take and not take. Take and don't take, right? Okay, and again, given that see, this function might return int max minus 1, and then when I'm adding plus 1, right? So this value could be, this take could be in int max, right? Okay, that's why I'm writing int max minus 1. Otherwise, because let's say if you're returning int max from here, then int max plus 1 will go beyond the range of integer. So you might face integer overflow issue. That's why I'm writing here int max minus 1. Okay, in some cases actually, so again, this function can return int max minus 1 if there is no solution, right? And that's why here I'm checking that if this function returns int max minus 1, that means there's no solution, so return minus 1. Okay, so I hope this.
So we can return amount plus 1, right? Because even if we take 1 as the minimum coin denomination,
but one might not be there, right?
Yeah, so that's why amount plus 1 will be the
no. So 1 might not be there. No. So in this case, why the answer is not 3?
No, I'm saying like instead of int max, we can use amount plus 1 as an maximum value that is.
Okay, so you're saying, okay, yeah, that will also work. Okay, so you're saying the maximum number of coins could be, the answer can't be more than amount. Yeah, that we can do. Yes, yeah, that should work.
So what is the int max again? I'm sorry,
so int max is a like in every language they have a constant. So int max is inbuilt constant in every language. So this is the maximum value of integer. Yeah.
Got it.
So in Java also they have integer int max. In C++ also they have int max. So these are the constants in every language. Yeah.
No problem.
Shashi, quick question on this. If amount is less than coins of y, so if we assume that the coins are already sorted, then is there a point of iterating further, or should we just return the max at that point?
Right. Yeah. I mean, if it is sorted, then we can simply like return minus 1, like minus 1 from here, like this value from here. Yeah, we can do that.
I see. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, like if that is sorted. So again, this works. I already have that recursive code which works I have the code in C++. I'll just show you that code. But again, that code will give us TLE because that is not optimized, right? But just to show you, right? Same thing. If the coin is amount is 0, then return 0. If we reached at the end of the array, then return this value. And if the value of the coin is more than the remaining amount, then we only have one option, which is don't take that coin. So we are doing that. Otherwise, we have both the options, and then we are taking a minimum of both the options we have. And again, this result could be int max -1. In that case, return -1. Otherwise, return result. So this works, but this will give us TLE because this is not optimized. We are not we are not so this is exponential, right? So if you see the if you see the recursive tree, right now, this recursive tree again has 2 branches, so it will be 2 to the power something. And then if you see the height of the tree, so in the left portion, let's say if I'm not taking that coin, then this height could be big O of n. And let's say if you talk about this height, right? Let's say if you have only one type of coin, which is 1, right? And let's say the amount is amount. In that case, when we are picking that coin, so given that we can pick the same coin multiple times, in that case, this height will be big O of amount, right? In the worst case. Okay, because every time we are only like decrementing that value of, the remaining amount by 1. So we'll hit the base case when yeah, like when we are done with basically every step we are picking one coin of value 1. So we are decrementing this amount by 1. So this height will be big of amount, right? So basically yeah, so total time could be 2 to the power, I would say it could be max of n comma amount in the worst case, right? And actually amount will be the maximum value in any case. It could be the maximum value actually, because the length of the array is small, it's only 12, but this amount is 10,000, so this could be larger in most of the cases. But yeah, this is exponential because we are basically like for every coin I, or I would say for every amount, we have 2 options, right? So it's 2 to the power max of n comma amount. So it's exponential. And that's why we are getting TLE for the recursive solution. Does that make sense?
Is that space complexity we discussed, 2 to the power maximum of n?
No, this is the time. This is the time complexity. So space will be only, so space will be the space used in the recursive call, which is only big O of max of n or amount. So here n is the length of the coins array. Because the height of the tree could be n or amount, right?
I think the still same will apply, right? Even for the space, because even for the space, if we consider the maximum time consuming tree, then it will again require more space, right?
No, why do we need more space here? So space is only the space required used in the recursive call stack, right?
Right.
And
It will be the
at one
height
point of
the
time, yeah, height of the tree, which is and height is nothing but n or amount, right? Max of n or amount.
If we go on not picking, right? Again, the same thing will apply.
Right. Sorry, I did not get it. So if you're not picking that coin, then this height could be big O of n, right? Because every time we are incrementing I, so starting from I equal to 0 to n, so this height could be n, and then this height could be amount, right? If you are, let's say, picking one coin of value 1 every time, so we need So this height could be amount, right?
Right, but then after picking that one, then again we go for the not picking one, right? Let's say.
Right. Yeah. So basically, every node will have two branches, right? So that is there. But we're talking about the height of the tree. So height will be this only, right? I mean, total number of nodes will be this much, and that is time. But when you talk about the space is only this much, right? Which is because at one point of time in the recursive call, we'll have only like one path, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So number of calls will be a lot more actually.
Yeah. So this is exponential to the power max of n.
Power, because every time we are making two choices here.
Two choices here. And so see, for any recursive call, let's say if you have a call like this, then that is nothing but big O of b to the power h, where b is the branching factor and then h is the height of the tree. So here b is 2, branching factor is 2, and height here is max of n and amount. So that's why the time is 2 to the power max of n comma amount. Yeah, Siva, this is 2 to the power max max of n comma amount. Yeah. But again, if you see the if you draw the regression diagram, you'll see that okay, we are calling the same function multiple times, right? Like let's say, so basically here function state can be defined by two things. One is, so in the function call, two things are changing, I and the sum, or you can say amount, right? So what I can do is I can have a 2D, let's say memo array or DP array. So in the memo I of sum, or you can say amount, I can store the value of this function so that I can reuse this value. So basically I'm using memoization now. Okay. So I'll store, I'll calculate the value of this function only once, and then I'll store this in this 2D array. And next time, if we are calling the same function, I'll reuse the value. So again, I already have that code, the memoized code. I'll show you because I don't want to waste much time. I think this should be that memoized code. Yeah, this is the memoized code we have. Yeah. I know this is C++, but I think this should be clear. I just want to show you that this is the working code. Right. So basically, again, same thing, right? So again, I'm just using a global array because I don't want to pass in the function call. So it's a global array. Again, the array size will be nothing but n plus 1 and amount plus 1, right? So the because in the function, the range of this I could be from 0 to n, which is the array length, and this amount could be in the range of 0 to the given amount, right? That's why this memo array or DP array will have size n plus 1 and amount plus 1. Okay. Yeah, n is the length of the coins array. Yes, n is the length of the coins array, the input array length. So I'm initializing that 2D array with -2. Again, here -1 could be the value. That's why I'm starting with -1. But yeah, you can initialize with any value, right? So I'm initializing that array with -1. And again, same thing. The base cases are same. The only thing is, before calculating the value of function of I comma amount, I'll simply check okay that if this value is not -2, that means okay, I already have calculated and stored that value in my DP array, so I can reuse the value. So I'm returning that value, DP of I amount. If it's not there, then I'll calculate it, right? So again, simply again, same recursive goal, right? But before returning, I'm simply storing this value in DP of I amount, because this is the value of function of I and amount, right? So DP of I amount is this, because here we have only one option. In this case, we have two options. So I'm taking minimum of this and this, and I'm storing that value in dp of I amount, and then I'm returning this dp of I amount, right? So yeah, this is how we memorize the recursive code, right? So I hope this should be clear. And this is same as a recursive call. Casper, yes. Now the time will be n cross amount. Yes. Now the time complexity will be n cross amount, because we are calling this function only once for every value of I, which could be in the range of 0 to n. And again, this amount could be in the range of 0 to the initial given amount. So total time would be n cross amount. Also, now space will be the space used in the dp2d array, which is again same, big O of n cross amount. I hope that makes sense.
Oh, Shashi, can you repeat once again this 12 and 13 line number?
12 and 13. Yeah, so this is how we memorize things, right?
No,
so this means
not equal to -2. Why you are checking -2? I missed that point actually.
So I'm initializing the array with -2, right? So initially in the array we'll have -2. -2 means
oh,
it's empty.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So this is
Shashi,
one.
why the memorize the array, right? We initialize with the dp of 12 plus 1 comma 10,000 plus. You are hard coding the size of the array.
Because I was using a global array, that's why I did
that
that.
is fine. Global array is fine. Why we are hard coding the size of the array here?
No, we should not do that. I did just for a hack. So yeah, we should not do that. I mean, the array size should be n plus 1 in this. Yeah. Given that the maximum value is this, that's why I just I'm just using the value from here. But yeah, it should be n plus 1 and amount plus 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, again, another way of writing or solving this could be that, okay, so basically another way of writing the recursive code could be that, okay, I'll have in the function I'll have the amount only, and then I'll simply try to I'll iterate in the coins array. Let's say for coin in the coins array, and I can check if the value of that coin is less than or equal to the remaining amount we have. In that case, we can pick that coin, right? So I can write like this: result is equal to, let's say, so basically I'm picking that coin. So this is nothing but 1 plus again function of amount minus the value of that coin. Okay. And then we can simply, let's say we'll have a something like this, let's say answer, which will be, let's say, some infinitive. So I can write like this: answer is equal to minimum of answer and this result. And we are doing this only if this result is valid, right? Let's say, because in some cases, if you are picking that coin, then we might not have any solution, right? So if this is valid, then I can update my answer, right? So we can do that as well. So here, I'm only changing amount, and for every amount, I'm simply checking. I'm simply iterating in the list of coins we have. And again, if I can pick that coin, then I'm picking that coin, and then I'm checking, okay, which of these options is giving us the fewest number of coins, right? So we can write the recursion like this as well. So in the discussion forum, or in fact the solution also, you can in the solution they have this version of recursive code. Also in the discussion forum also, you can see the other ways of implementing the same solution. So yeah, you can also try to implement the recursive code like this, that okay, I'll only be changing the amount, And for every amount, actually, I will try all the coins. So basically, now for at every level, we'll have total n options, right? Like let's say if the amount is 11, and let's say in the coins array I have 1, 2, 5. So in that case, I'll have 3 options, right? So 11. So let's say if I'm picking 1, then this will be 10. This will be 9, and this will be 6. Okay, because I'm picking 1 here, I'm picking 2 here, I'm picking 5 here. So this is the remaining amount I have, right? So my answer will be nothing but 1 plus minimum of, again, all these 3 function calls, right? So again, from 10, I'll get one option is 9, 8, and 5. Then again, from 5, we'll have 3 options, 4, 3, and 0, right? So this 0 is end, so we'll get 0 from here. That means again 1 plus min of all these function calls. So actually, or I would say, yeah, so this will be nothing but 1 plus minimum of all these function calls. So this will return 0. So basically minimum will be 0. So this function will return 1. Then again, this is nothing but 1 plus minimum of all these 3 things. So this is 1, which is the minimum. So now this will return 2. Basically function of 10 will return 2. That means to get this amount 10, I need at least 2 coins. Okay. And then so on, right? So again, this will be 1 plus 2 is 3. So this is how 3 will be the answer. So we can do this as well. And again, we can memorize this as well. So this is another way of writing the recursive call. This one, yeah, I mean depends, right? So like here we are simply making all the choices for the remaining amount we have. We are trying all the coins one by one. In the last recursive code, it was more about only ith coin, right? But here we are trying all the possible coins we can choose. Okay, any other doubt, anyone else?
For the invalid case, why can we return int max instead? Why we have to decrement 1 at here? Can we return int max here?
Yeah, if let's say if you could not, if you're not getting any, so again here also base case will be, let's say if the amount is 0, then return 0, right? Here also again we in some cases, right, like
No, I'm asking the first solution. The first solution, the auto bound will return the int max -1, right? So why not return int max?
Because if you're returning int max, then 1 plus int max will give us I mean integer overflow, right? We will this value will be, yeah, that's why I'm using int max -1, because here I'm adding 1 here, right?
Is auto bound on the second solution?
Sorry?
Will we get out of bound for the second solution? Let's say
no, actually in the second solution also we can do some hack like this to take care of this.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you can try that by yourself. Okay. Okay, then I'm done from my side. Sorry. I can see one doubt. So why not return int main, then test for negativity later? See, here we are picking the mean of these 2 values, right? So let's say if one of these values are int main, then we are going to pick that, right? That's why we should not pick, we should not use int main. In case of max, of course, we should use int main, but here it's about picking the minimum, so we should always use int max or any large value. Does that make sense? Because if you're using int main, then we're always going to pick that value, which is not the solution. Okay. Okay, then I'm done from my side. Now Soham will talk to all of you. Let's wait for him to join.
So what if I'm using Python and I would just throw an exception instead of passing down int
Yeah,
max?
in Python we don't need that. Yeah, like you just can use int max.
So is that frowned upon on an interview, or should I develop?
I think for Python, yeah, you don't need you don't need that. I mean, you can return any large value. So it could be, let's say 1 million, 1 billion or something. So that should be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, with the int max, I'm just worried about overflow, you know.
Yeah, so if you're using int max -1, then will not have overflow, right?
Yeah.
Because the value can't be more than like int max. Hi Soham, are you there? Yeah, Soham has joined.
Hi everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, folks. Thank you all for coming again. This is Soham. And we are in the Monday night session, one of my favorite sessions of the week. Here we do free-flowing Q&A. If you have any questions, I'm happy to help with best of my ability. If you have not been here before, really that's all we do. Right? If you have any questions, we ask and help each other, basically. This is that. And if you don't have questions, that's also entirely fine. You can just listen in or chat. All good. This week, still facing, I think, the summer market, but I think the ML, something very interesting came about in ML. Like somebody built an entire South Park episode using it. Let me see if I can find some. And there's some very interesting reactions to it. Let me see, where the hell is it? If any of you, nope, I can't seem to find that link. There it is. Yeah. Let me show you a couple of things. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah. It's coming. There's an expletive in here, but still. This is a reaction to this tweet. Announcing our paper on generative TV and showrunner agents. Create episodes of TV shows with a prompt. Showrunner will write, animate, direct, voice, and edit for you. With South Park research only, we won't be releasing ability to make your own South Park episodes, not our IP. So this came about, and then somebody just went berserk. ML people tend to forget this point because they're so used to it, but it's worth pointing out the rate of progress in the field is insane. It is not, in fact, normal to wake up and see a paper automating the entire process of making a South Park episode and go, oh, cool, and move on to a day as usual. It is not normal to have field-defining advances come out at a rate that is more than once a month. I have lots of friends doing research in other fields, physics, neuroscience, etc. Usually many years will pass before the field sees tiny glimpses of promise. To be an analyst to do science at the speed of light, you see years of progress happen in span of months. It's not normal. It's hard for me to even imagine being in a different field because how slow they seem in comparison. Anyway, so this is happening as we are living our lives. There is another thing that also happened. One of these VCs who I follow and in my worldview makes a lot of sense. He also said something which is very, very interesting. Yeah. Yes. This guy, Jason Lemkin. Sorry if I think I shared it properly. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, yeah. Feeling pretty bullish about second half of 24. We are starting the second half of 23. He's talking about second half of 24. Market's up 30% this year. Now, some people asked him if it's a typo and he means 23. He has not responded. But in any case, he's feeling bullish, whether it is like next month or next year. And he has given data for it. It's not just like wakes up in the morning and has good tea. No. Market's up 30% this year, lapping a tough year, everyone more efficient. Like efficient as in like a lot of layoffs have already happened and the teams are small and they're trying to push through it. So many at 200 million plus ARR are still growing 30%. ARR is annual recurring revenue, 200 million plus, and still growing at 30%. It is not easy to grow 30% when you are at $200 million in revenue every year. Some seeing buying pick up, buying as in like the products that the companies are selling. Jason is a SaaS investor, software as a service investor. So companies like Box, for example, Zendesk, DocuSign, Salesforce. It's software as a service, software that you rent by paying some money. Right? And obviously, a lot of progress in this world is through that. Some see buying picking up, inflation down, interest rates peaked. Right. Inflation is actually down. It's back. It's to 4%. It's still not down to 2% levels, which was there earlier. It's to 4% level. And interest rates peaked as in like there is chatter of not increasing anymore, serious chatter, and 50 plus strong IPOs in the wings. Right. A lot of companies are holding on to their IPOs because the markets are not doing well, but they will over the next course of year. So these are some of the things we keep in mind. We keep watching, apart from obviously everything else going on. What's going on with you? What are you finding these days? How's market for you? Market is a very specific thing. So can't be general, just like real estate. The price of a property at place X is different from price of the property from X plus 1. It's exactly, careers are exactly like that. They're very individual, very specific. So obviously there are common elements, but generally each one has their own path. So what are you seeing with your coworkers? How's chatter at work? Is the work environments, are they stressed work environments? Are they relaxed environments? Like Are you guys excited because now new hiring is happening, not happening? What are you all seeing, feeling? And again, for people who are new, this is the type of conversations we have. Yeah, nothing more fancy than that. Yeah, but often very useful. Tell me. Time is more squeezed than ever. Yes, ever. It's true. Yeah. Like if I were to ask you a general question, are you more stressed at work today than beginning of the year? Would you say yes, no, or about the same? Yeah. So it's a yes. Or used to some stress. I think that's the right answer, isn't it? No, but only because of jadedness. No layoffs. No layoffs are behind. More stress since last quarter. Okay. It's interesting. Oh, pretty much the same. Last quarter 2022, I hit the maximum limit. More stressed. Interesting. But the same. Okay. Yes. Okay, let me then change the question. Okay. Change the question. And I would love more participation if you can. Exactly. Are you more optimistic today than you were at the beginning of the year? Or are you more pessimistic today compared to the beginning of the year? Optimistic or pessimistic about the future? You are more optimistic today. Okay. Okay, very good. Go before. Optimistic but stressistic. Well said. Well said, Kunal. Well said. It is, yes, future looks better, but like right now I'm stressed. Very good. Good. Okay. Feeling of another shoe dropping is lower. Understood. I will not be surprised if they tighten the rates even further. And the reason is, and again, I'm in no position to influence this, but the feeling I'm getting by talking to people who control budgets is that the pain was little too short-lived. Like it was a little too short-lived. Like companies are now thinking about raising prices again. And that will kick inflation again. And Fed doesn't want to see inflation again. So they may create more pain to say no, even higher interest rates. And so it becomes even harder for companies to borrow and do business. Even harder for companies to raise money because the investors will be like, I can get 10% without risk. Why do I risk 15% with risk, with infinite risk? There's no point. So like they will slow this down to prolong the pain such that that's my guess. Prolong some pain such that companies don't think about raising prices again. Because if the prices rise again quickly, it'll be a problem. Now that's one way of thinking. Other way of thinking is if you prolong the pain in the market, as an economist, prolong the pain in the market is when companies will be like, now I need to raise prices. So which of the two is sort of panning out? Anybody's guess. It's but don't be surprised if they take if they take a pessimistic view to say no, we are not out of the pain yet. So they increase a little bit. Yeah. So either they don't want to break hope, right? They just want to control inflation. And if they see that there is a good chance that inflation is going to come back, right, then they would push it up. Still, it's not like the sandwich in the Bay Area is cheaper anymore. Like it's slightly cheaper, I think. But 5 years ago, it used to be like $11, $10, $11. And when we used to have physical classes, we used to order food for people. And like I had deals with some of these restaurants to give like bulk sandwiches at like $11 or something with tax, tip, delivery, all of that. Which they would in retail they will set like 13. Right? I would get it at 11 because it'd be I prepay and there were fixed orders and stuff like that. Like today, they those sandwiches retail for 20, and I wouldn't be able to make a deal at even like 18. So, though I must say that ever since Jerome Powell has cracked down on inflation, like 20 hasn't gone to 25. So that is actually correct. But I would have loved for prices to come down for it. Yeah, AI is helping. Yeah, Vitali, sorry, I went a little bit further. Tell me, you had a point to make.
Yeah, I just thought I would share like a change in the hiring process. So it used to be like years ago that if after you talk to a recruiter at Google, then you could immediately, if the recruiter is okay, they could go ahead and schedule interviews for you. So now they've added an additional step. So now, even if the recruiter is okay with proceeding, now the recruiter has to find like a team match, or at least like a manager who is interested in interviewing, and only then they can schedule in the interviews. And that's in addition to the team match after the interviews, which was already there before. So I thought I would share. It was kind of an interesting additional steps, because I assume they probably have too many people in the pipeline already, so they're trying to limit the pipeline at the beginning of the process.
Absolutely correct. You're absolutely right. There are too many people even at the team matching stage. After the hiring committee has cleared them, and team matching stage, there's a lot of backlog there. I've seen people waiting for 8 months. So
yeah, so I think that part has also changed. So now I believe they don't even go to the hiring committee unless there is a team match and a headcount assigned, allocated. So several steps.
As economy improves, these things will thaw. Right? These things will get better. Okay.
Yeah, I had an interesting thing to share as well. So this was with Kroger, one of the big retail friends, right? So it was for a product manager position, and the way that they wanted to interview is before even you meet any of the hiring team, they have introduced AI powered video questions. So which basically monitors your responses, your keyword matches, and then it gives a score, which gets directly sent to the hiring committee. And after that, only if they secure a score that is over the threshold, then even consider the candidate. So that seemed given. I didn't even get to meet any person at all. It was all just sent me a link, and that's pretty much it. I was speaking to a camera. I look at myself. That's pretty much it. for 30 minutes.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Brutal, man, brutal. Sorry, I feel for it. I feel for you. What was the product? If you do you remember?
No, actually, it was generic questions. It was for product manager role.
Yeah, no. I mean, but what was the video? What was the video product in the thing that they?
It was something that they had built in house. I don't know. I don't think it's a commercial available product.
Fascinating. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. And the recruiter did talk to you, right? At least once, and then they put you.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Understood. And was it like a proctored test, where was there somebody there while you were doing this, or they just sent you a link and said just do it whenever you want?
Yeah, it was take the test whenever you want to, kind of thing. It wasn't proctored test. It just it's a time test though. So a question appears, then you are given 10 seconds to prepare, and then you are expected to respond for 45 seconds. And then the same thing repeats a few times with different questions.
Understood. I see. And do they give you the questions in advance before that?
No.
So these are the questions that you're going to be. No. Okay.
No.
I see. Are you able to re-record the answer? We play back and say, okay, I didn't say this right, or this is not coming out properly. Can you re-record?
No.
No, I can't re-record. Interesting. Yeah, that sucks. There should be some re-record. Like maybe once re-record or twice record this.
Right. So the only thing that they had is before you start the actual test, they give you 2 or 3 chances where you can get accustomed to the situation and to the tool, where you can they ask questions, but it's not counted towards your actual test. That's pretty much it. But there is no going back and revisiting the questions now. Yeah. I didn't expect Kroger to do that, because I was thinking they were a little behind in technology, but I thought one of these giants will do it, but looks like they started it, or they want to be an early adopter. Yeah.
No, so Prabhu, that's really the point, and not just for Prabhu, everybody. These things are now commoditized. Right? You can build that app today. You can.
Right.
Everybody here can. Text, audio, images are like practically conquered, right? Which is why you see a lot of deep fakes as well. Okay. Video yet is not conquered in terms of deep fakes. So you can't fool anyone by presenting a video, but still it's getting closer. So companies like Synthesia, you might want to look it up if you haven't already. Like they are getting close. The lip syncing is getting close. Still, you can tell it's really not a real person, but it's actually like way better than before. And so text, images, and audio, right? Like you can actually fool somebody else now, right? Like you can write emails using these bots, which people won't be able to tell whether they're a real human or a bot. You can create images which you can't tell, and you can also have audio. Audio is still harder. It's not as easy. Still harder, but it is possible. The technology exists today to just completely fool other people, right? That who's speaking, right? Is the bot speaking or you speaking? That exists today, and audio is 11 labs. You can look up 11 labs. They do that. So
Google is like a lot of technology. They said like for everything they generate from their model, they will metadata tag it that this is AI generated actually.
Yes. So all this is like possible. Like we at IK have developed random tools like that, right? Like with our head of engineering and the team that we have. Like we are a coaching company, right? So So it is possible now, like everybody, it is like it's rapidly commoditized, right? Like that. And Sava, you are right. I think there needs to be a bot that answers interviews now. You know, I think, and I'm sure somebody's going to do it. Somebody's going to absolutely do it. Now, I have a friend who runs a company like HackerRank. Very small company. He has a few steady clients, and he doesn't want to grow it. So very satisfied type person. He said that his pass rate in tests pre-GPT was 15%. Yeah. So his tests, people would pass at the rate of 15%. Right? Do you know what his pass rate was after GPT? And this is the same computer science questions. Some multiple choice questions, some actual algorithmic questions, some very tool specific questions, stuff like that. His pass rate after GPT was 55%. Okay. So think about this. Think about the company that is sending the test. Think about you being the company you sending the test. When you get the results, you have no clue, like whether this is real or not. So, so what do you have to do as a company? You have to continue to make questions harder, so that you can fool the bots, or you do make questions more cryptic, contrived. You can fool the bots. A little bit like those of you who come from India, preparation for the IITs, Indian Institutes of Technology, the exam that is given after 12th grade. That exam preparation got so much better over the years that the questions, if you see today, are so contrived. It is unbelievable how disconnected they are from what is practically required. That is also true in the medical entrance exam for medicine. Another entrance exam happens. The questions are so contrived and so bizarre that obviously there was no AI involved in it. Without AI, all the Indian people came together and made the exam easy. The preparation was to that level that they continue to make it more and more difficult. So right now, like how hard can you even make it? Like you just have to make the questions like really contrived, and that's one possibility that is going to happen, where if you clear the screen, they still wouldn't know if you used a bot or you didn't use a bot, and so the further questions are going to be harder. And I'm not looking forward to that, even though that might be actually good for the business. I think it's bad for candidates. It sucks. There has to be some better way of doing this, which I'm hoping will come. And Prabhu, in that vein, you know, a video-based interview, like video-based screen, is actually better, right? Because video is not conquered yet. Video-based screen is better, so that you can still see that this is a genuine person trying to do something. So,
right.
But yeah. Anyway, but just giving the other side. I appreciate you sharing. Very
absolutely so. And I mean, this is a different topic. So I know there is an offering for the AI ML program at IK. Either I have spoken to about 3 people from operations, but I have some questions that probably you can answer. Or if you can give me or email or 5 minutes of your time, one-on-one, that will be good at some point.
Yeah, no, feel free to shoot an email. Soham at Kickstart. I mean, just much more easy,
cool.
Asynchronous. I can just answer.
Yeah. All right.
And if I feel like it's too much, I'll just tell you we can talk.
Sounds good. Yeah.
People are also researching about how to make models from models. Like you do prompting and it'll create a model. But again, I think that's a little too far. But I'm saying that that's the extent of progress, the speed of progress of thought, speed of thought that is happening. Tava, you're right. In-person interview will be hard to beat, and that is also one big reason there is a push to go local as well. Right? Like because of these bots, right? People are very worried that that employees will do 2 jobs, 3 jobs, stuff like that. So stuff like that. Are the job openings real or mostly repeats? So Sunil, there are companies who are posting jobs for visa reasons. There are companies posting jobs because they just want to showcase the world that they are not struggling. But those are in minority. Very few companies are sponsoring visas these days, as we have discussed earlier as well. And yes, there are companies who don't want to show that they are struggling, but you can find them if the activity is low. If the jobs are simply posted over a few days and like actual activity is low, you know that those are not real. So you look at like aggregate activity in those jobs, not just social media posts, but like beginning of the year they had 10 openings that they had posted, and now they still have 10. Like you know that, or like even a month ago, if there's no activity on this, then you know that it is that. But like company that actually is hiring, they have some activity. They just don't like post jobs. They take down jobs, they add more, they change the job descriptions, stuff like that. And the companies that are pretending are actually in minority. So don't worry about it. The reason you may not be getting outreach, you may not be getting responses, is because just too many applicants. Just too many applicants in this. What is not breaking, which I had so hoped would break, is this elitism. To say that I want people with a certain type of background. Right? If I am Facebook, I only want people from Google. They don't do that, but I'm giving an example. Or like the resume should have some definition of what I think is great, right? And instead of just like giving a chance to people like that I thought I had like faint hope in my head, even though economics and markets don't support it. Right? But it obviously hasn't broken. Like they still like are biased. So any guess? Sahi?
Hi, Soham. So I have a question regarding the transition to AI from like a normal full stack engineer kind of background. I don't know if it's the right time to ask, or should I also contact you later through email or something?
No. Transition to AI for full stack. Just ask. It's fine.
Yeah.
Unless you want like very specific details about any of your programs and stuff like that, then that's like a different conversation.
Not much specifics.
Yeah.
Kind of a little general.
Please.
So basically,
yeah, go ahead.
I'm in a dilemma. I do want to switch sometime, but in like now or in future, but I'm not quite sure when the timeline has to be, because I kind of don't know if I have, like, I'm in a mostly so far in a non big tech background. So most of the companies I've worked in a medium to small size. So I'm wanting to, the reason I joined IK is to get into some good company, like a big tech Faang company. So I took the training so far in whatever full stack or this domain. So now if I have to get into another MLE or some domain, all this will be kind of because I didn't do it yet. I didn't interview yet. So should I do this first and then think about MLE, or where I'm kind of.
So Sai, a couple of thumb rules on this. If, and I think this is not the case for you, but if it is the case for somebody else, if you're looking for a job now, don't look for a job in ML at the moment, unless you already have done it before. Like it takes some time to ramp up and actually be interview ready if you've never done ML before. So if for any reason you're like, no, I need a job in the next 3 months, no, just continue the path that you are in. So you're a full stack engineer looking for a job in full stack, just double down your efforts on full stack. and it is frustrating. It is absolutely frustrating because most people are not getting calls, and recruiters are ghosting. Like all that is there, but your path isn't incorrect. Like you just have to do more of what you're doing. Like if you're applying to 100 a week, like double it down, apply to 200 a week. Right? If you are personalizing only 20 job applications, personalize 40 job applications. Right? Now there are bots that can help you also do that. So, so just double down on your efforts to get that and keep moving. If you can wait, you're like, no, I mean, I would love to switch, but it's more of a nice to have versus like I need it for whatever reason, whether you've lost your job or whether you just don't want to continue where you are, or for monetary reasons, whatever that is. Like, try and distinguish between, do you really need something in the next 3 months, or do you or can you wait? Can you wait a year or so? Right? If you can wait a year, then do ML. That's generally the thumb rule on this. Does that make some sense? Does that help?
Yes. Yeah. It totally makes sense. Yeah. I think you gave me some clarity on that. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, Soham.
Yes.
So the ML course has started, and I'm sure people have already graduated with ML knowledge right now from IK. You have any data on how much is the minimum that ML engineers are getting an offer right now in this market?
No.
Minimum.
So people haven't graduated yet because we started in Jan, and it'll be several months before they graduate. Just that there's just a lot of demand for it to just do it, not just from alums but also from people outside. So we are starting cohorts, just demand pressure, right? But we haven't had graduate students yet. But in general, the ML engineering salaries from the interview prep programs that we have, they are very close to software engineering salary, about 10% higher right now. So if you piece the anecdotes and like produce about 8 to 15 is what we generally see the range in ML to be higher right now.
Hey, Soham. Yeah, one observation, like I'm finding, like that these models are quite very expensive actually. So
Yeah.
it's not easy for, so it's coming out to like boil down to like Bitcoin kind of thing, like where it needs to be a lot of infrastructure support. And that's why it's like, we're not talking about GPU, we are talking about TPUs and all those things. So seeing the trend looks like, right, only few companies in the market would be able to have the real AI solutions on the background. What we are doing, right, as an API consumer and calling these models to process the work, which earlier we could have to build our own models and all those things. But largely we are falling to their APIs and all those things, because now training on our own premise, right, these are like very expensive. We don't know certainties about that, right? So my question is that, keeping that in mind, right, when we are preparing for the interview for the machine learning job, where you are trying to focus, like, is it to this limited set of the companies like Google, Amazon, or the Meta, which would be targeting the building the GPU, training the models, right, or versus the real any software companies? What's your vision on that part?
I'll show you one thing. I think I might have showed this in one of the other ones, other sessions here at some point. Come on, man. Come on. I think a good visualization. I think some of you know what I'm looking for. There. Okay, look. This is the AI tech stack. It's called the tech stack, but it's made by business people. Yeah. And so there's no like tools and stuff like that here. It is a business view of the world. Right? And look at this. There is compute hardware. To your point, everything runs on this hardware, GPUs and TPUs. Right? And yes, it is expensive. There are companies frantically working on innovating in the hardware space as well to make it cheaper. So that will happen, help and happen. On top of it are compute platforms or cloud platforms, AWS, GCP, Azure, CoreWeave. There are others as well that are coming up, which are just for ML. Nearly all ML happens, or nearly all development now happens on cloud, right? Except for some of these bigger ones like Facebook cannot have it, cannot just be working on AWS. I mean, they do have things in AWS, but it's not like their core products are not in thousands of computers. Google can't be just like working on GCP alone. They have a lot of parts on GCP, but they also have their own data centers. So outside of a few companies, like most of the development now happens in cloud. But now, once on the cloud, there are largely two ways, this light blue, there are largely two ways of building apps. One is you build from scratch, like Midjourney was built or Runway was built. Right, from scratch on the cloud platform, right? You start public static void main, right? Like that type of scratch, mostly Python, but still, just analogically, figuratively, you open your first file, public static void main, you start and you build the whole app, right? Which means here you build your own models and you train them and you infer from there. This way of building apps is by using existing models that somebody else has created. Right? They are called foundational models, foundation models. Like OpenAI created GPT. They stuffed in the entire internet's data. They took Bing's entire catalog, put it in, like entire index of the web, they put it in. And they took data from other hundreds of other places and they created it. And so GPT has a lot of knowledge. It's a foundational model. So you can use that. You pay rent for it. You pay a few dollars a month or a few $100s a month, depending on your application, few $1,000s a month, or hundreds of $1,000s a month, depending on your application and usage, and you build your app on top of it, right? Or you use open source models, right? Like you go to Hugging Face, right? The model hubs replicate, and you get these open source models. Right? Stable Diffusion, for example, is an open source model, and Llama they made open source. Facebook made open source recently. There are large foundation models that are also open source. You don't have to pay for it, but then you have to manage it, right? So, so this is very eerily similar to software. Right? Like you want a new website, you can install WordPress, or you can pay something like GoDaddy, Wix, Weebly, Shopify, Webflow, whatever tools to make a website, or you just start from scratch and just say hash bang HTML, right? You just start from there. Right? So there are three ways of building things. Right? Obviously, this clearly, arguably, is the most intense and the hardest way of building things. Right? But this is also where most value creation happens. You can, the number of apps that are going to be built on open source software and rented models is certainly higher than from scratch. And also, it is also true that there's going to be a combination of all of these in all of the apps that succeed. But you as an ML engineer, right, my take to this, as an ML engineer, you must know how to build models from scratch, train them, and infer. Right? All of that you should know. Now, with that, when you know that, this becomes easy, much easier. All you have to do is like call the API and put the prompts and you get the data you want. So now the programs that we are training, right, in this. Our goal is to give you all we can, right, to help you build skills to do this, right? So we also do math. We also we'll also do like multiple GPUs, right? We'll simulate a distributed system, right? And so you can understand how to do that training in a distributed way, and then deploy like MLOps, all of that. Right? Now, the jobs that you may get, right, can be anywhere here. Okay? can be anywhere here. They can be in apps that are only using foundation models, can be apps that are not using foundation models, can be apps that are going to be using the mix. Very likely, all successful apps are going to have a mix of those models, right? So the interview process, right, where whether you go here to just apps here or you go to apps here, right? Interview process is going to involve just the same algorithms, design, fundamentals of ML, right? Fundamentals of how do you build this? Right? How do you build from scratch? We may not need you to build from scratch, just exactly like in software. We may not need you to build anything from scratch, but I need you to know how it is built. Right? So that's going to be the interview process. And then once you join, right, you will see it is going to be a mix of it. There will be small models built from scratch, possibly large ones as time goes, right? And the other things will be built on top of this. Right? And will be the combination back and forth. Right? All right. So as an engineer, my goal is that you learn this entire thing. This, if you learn building from scratch, using is like next to trivial, like almost trivial. So it's not going to take much time. Now, at some point, we will also start courses just for this, right? For people who, for any reason, do not want to learn how to build apps, right? Do not, or like cannot for any reason, right? And they just want to use apps. We'll start short courses for these also, right? But it's in somewhat in a distant future, because right now most people that are coming want to, right, build from scratch. My sense is that if given how similar it has been to software, this progress has been to software. If this trend continues, that similarity with software, right, there is for time up to times immemorial, there's going to be a need to build models from scratch. Right? Think about Bloomberg. Bloomberg cannot rely on GPT, right? Because Bloomberg has its own data. Right? So they will have to build a model on their own data. Think about Quora. Quora has its own data. So the companies that have any sort of sizable or specific data will have to build their own models. Right? Now, you can feed that data to GPT, right, and combine that with GPT's knowledge and build a model. That's possible. Right? But still, you will have to know how to build, right, models in that case also. So that's where this is going. Right? And after the so again, in summary, to answer your question more directly, right, my goal is to have you learn this and learn how to build anything from scratch. Your jobs may be anywhere in the field, right? And the compensation, right, is going to be the same because it's going to be a mix of everything there. Right? Clearly, some companies who are building like much deeper, broader models that will pay more. That also happens in software, right? Exactly like that. But does that help answer the question?
Yeah, very much. The most important key I got out of all of it, the company what you said, like which has the data, their own data, right? Those kind of the companies might be I don't know, maybe they may be the high paying also in that respect.
Yeah. So I mean, think about Walmart, right? Some of you might work at Walmart. Walmart has its own data. Kroger has its own data. Why would they give it to GPT? They would lose that advantage, comparative advantage. They have data for millions of transactions that happen. They have data for geographical locations, right? Less data, but critical data as well. So so like, think about something else. Give me a second. Let me see if I can find that. This. The 10 global biggest industries by revenue. Okay. Think about this. This is 4 trillion revenue from global life and health insurance carriers. Imagine the kind of data they have. Right? GPT doesn't have that data. GPT is like trivial compared to the kind of data these guys have. Pension funds, commercial real estate, car and automobile sales, automobile manufacturing, general insurance carriers, commercial banks, oil and gas, auto parts, engineering services, they will all sooner or later, right, will need to have competitive advantage in the market, right? All of them. So engineering services seems like very dry on the road type job, but one of the 10 largest global industries. And even if like one good player embraces AI, guess what happens to the whole industry? Everybody goes in. So that's where this is headed. That is why I think it will be useful to learn how to build models from scratch. That is the bet. Yeah. Yeah, the training cost is expensive. You're right, and to your original point, it is expensive, and there's going to be innovations to reduce it, right, as well. And as the economy opens up, right, more money is going to flow as well into it. So though right now, like 30 million training cost is absolutely nothing, right, for it. If something can be done in 30 million, you will have a list of investors who will pay for this, for the kind of value that is created out of it. Right now, the biggest problem really is not the cost. The biggest problem is shortage of GPUs. They can't make them fast enough. That is the issue right now. I'm sure you read about it, but yes. But yeah, cost problem will get solved, right, over time. Cost problem will get solved, and obviously complex models will remain with people who can spend that much time, that amount of money, which is exactly how it is in software. Like you can't go to Facebook and hope to just install PHP and make it work. Like it didn't work for them, so they had to make HPHP. Right? Like they had to convert PHP to C++. They literally wrote software to convert PHP to C++. It's insane because it didn't work for them. Right? Like otherwise, like the ready-made things won't work, and they will have to train from scratch. Think about the amount of data that Facebook has. Right? They are already making use of that data. Don't even forget that. Right? They're already making use of that data to give us more personalized ads, more personalized feeds, right? And they're going to take it even further with AI. So anyway, that's it.
So what would be the biggest use case for this kind of companies with the ChatGPT kind of model?
Cost saving, customer experience, just newer models, right? Like you recommending your next auto part, for example, right? What have you? Like I don't belong to those industries, right? Like the engineering services, for example, like building bridges and such. Like there is no AI application in building bridges. It's all right now like in the head of a good engineer, and you find the good engineer and you can build a bridge, and it's a 10-year project. Like there's no reason it has to be that way, right? The entire supply chain can be managed with AI for bridges. Why not? So if you are in that industry, you will see very obvious use cases, like optimization. Like I'll give you examples. Data centers, data center electricity management, which you and I will possibly never be able to think of. But people have said 40% plus costs in data center electricity management. 40% is huge when you have large data centers. Even recommending the next video to you, right? It has gotten better and better over time. So lots of these use cases, even drone, right? Like there are now drones which charge wirelessly. So now they keep flying the drones using AI, and the drones never, for the life of them, they never come down on the ground until the part breaks. Like even at IK, we had this thing about people not being clear about what domain they should choose in our level up programs. So we put a classifier on top of it. Right? Like everything you see, all optimization problems can be routed through that, right? Anything you thought was like very difficult to do now is not difficult to do. Right? Anything that you don't understand now, you can put it in a black box and understand it. So things like that. I hope that answers that. I hope that was your question as well.
Yeah.
anything you thought an expert was required at. Now AI can give you that thing. All right, folks. I think good conversation as always. Let me know if I can help. Soham at Kickstart. And thank you all for coming and making Monday night exciting. Have a very, very good evening.
Thanks.
Thanks, Soham. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.